Hey guys, what's up? It's Armin van Buuren here, and I'm at Ushuaïa Ibiza 2023. Yeah, I can remember the first time I came to Ibiza. I was playing after Judge Jules, Judgment Sunday in Eden in San Antonio, and I think it was the year 2000, so it was a long time ago. And I remember I was a little disappointed when I first came to Ibiza because I heard so many stories about it, about the music, about the culture, about the hippie vibe, about everything. And I learned to appreciate Ibiza the years after. If you really want to know Ibiza, you have to stay here for a month, 2 months, visiting the island, finding the special spots, and then so slowly the years after I understood Ibiza more and more, I went to the special club nights, I went to the north, and it really took my heart. First time I played in Ushuaïa, I have to tell you something really funny. I think it was already called Ushuaïa, but it was a really small, I think it was something like a pool thing, a hotel. It wasn't really like what it is now. And I played a pre-party for my own night. I think it was at Privilege, maybe? I think, the old Privilege. So this must have been in like 2011 or something, like really long time ago. And then I heard that Ushuaïa was like opening and they were doing something really big. And I was like, because I know Ibiza only like for the clubs are inside, like Pasha and Amnesia and Eden and Privilege was all inside. So when they told me like this is going to be outside and the pool and it's going to be only in the evenings when Ibiza is normally it's only at night, you play like 1 to 3 or 2 to 4, that's the best time because people go to dinner and then they go out. So for me it was a totally new concept, and but I loved it. I brought a whole new chapter in the history of Ibiza, a very positive one, I think. I love it when it's dark. I love it when it's, you feel the vibe. People are coming from the beach. Usually it's very hot here in Ibiza. So in the end of the afternoon, people are a little bit lazy and then when they have some food and they go to Ushuaïa, you feel like the energy at 9 or 10 people are ready to party, and they go out. I think one of my favorite moments in Ushuaïa was last year I played back-to-back with David Guetta on his night. It was phenomenal. There was like 10,000 people and it was crazy, and I loved the connection I had with David on stage. It was really special. And I want to say one of my favorite shows I ever did was last year in Ushuaïa. I played a longer set and it was raining. I'll never forget it. Like I saw like on the weather forecast on my phone, like it's going to be 99% chance of rain. It's going to be very bad. And I was like, oh, I don't want my season to end in the rain, I'm going to be so upset. But it was the best night I ever played in Ushuaïa because the people that were there were like so happy that it rained and they partied because the rain is not cold, Like in Holland we are used to rain and the drops are cold, but in Ushuaïa or in Ibiza the rain is like a shower, And it wasn't really raining like very hard, but people were standing with umbrellas and dancing. And like when I asked people, are you ready to party? So all the hands going up, and I just felt the energy. Yeah, it was crazy. So you would think that if it rains in Ushuaïa, it's bad, but I think those are the best nights. Well, mix albums are a little bit over, I think, because it used to be very hot when we were still buying CDs. Now with streaming portals, it's different, I think. But I think it's still important for me to do mixed compilations like this. Because it's a great showcase of like what my current set sounds like and the new music that I'm playing. And now I've done something new. Like normally it would only be 2 mixes. One is called On the Beach. It's more like 122, 124 BPM, more slow, like when you're chilling on the beach. And mix 2 is always in the club. So when you go clubbing or you want to, you're doing your hair and you want to have the energy to party. But now we added a third mix, which is called Who's Afraid of 138, because now the BPMs are all going up. And so it's very, very popular and the fans really love it. So I do 3 mixes, so it's a 3 CD, but you can also check it on, like YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, everything. Yeah. Well, there was a thing like the Ibiza sound, which I had to learn. Like I told you before. I came to Ibiza the first time and I wasn't impressed because I was expecting, like, people in Holland were saying Ibiza is the paradise, and I was thinking something else. In my mind it was like a paradise, and it is paradise, but you need to know where you need to go. So in Ibiza they have this thing called the Balearic sound. The Balearic Islands are Menorca, Mallorca and Ibiza. Those are and there's a certain sound, like, especially in trance music, like for me, represents the Balearic sound is more like, you know, Café Del Mar, like more chilled, maybe some nice vocals, but guitars, but still danceable. A lot of electronic influence, but more relaxed. A name that springs to mind is Chicane, for example. You know, his great music was really trancey, but had like the plucks and you know, Saltwater for me is the ultimate Ibiza tune, or Music Sounds Better With You from Stardust. And so this sound has very much influenced my sound as well, because, you know, sometimes when I sit in the studio, I really I see Ibiza in front of me, like a specific place on the island, you know, where I've been. So when I'm making this track, I can see the place there. And so many artists are inspired by Ibiza and the sound, and Esvedra, and you know, driving around the island, and the sunsets, and Café Mambo when the sun goes down, and yeah, it's a special place. Lose This Feeling is the fastest track I ever released. It's 150 BPM. Again, because I think after COVID, during the lockdowns in COVID, chill out music was very popular, so the BPMs went down a lot because people weren't dancing, you know, they were listening to relaxed music. And now the doors are open again. You know, we left COVID behind us. It's still there, of course, and it's very dangerous, but we're not in lockdowns anymore. We know how to treat it now. So people came out, and you feel that, you know, the young generation, they want to party, want to go out. So all of a sudden the BPMs are up, and I wanted to answer that with this tune. It's the result of a writing session in Sweden. And we actually wrote the track, I think, at 135 BPM. And then accidentally the engineer played it faster. And it sounded so much more energetic, more positive. So we decided to keep it that way. DJing and producing is my craft. It's my art, it's my output, it's my passion. It's the way that it's what I think I'm born to do. You know, I love it so much, and I would miss it if I wasn't doing it. It's for me the ultimate way to express myself as an artist, and it's my way of living. I'm using all the latest plugins and all the new technologies in my productions. I'm very curious always what the new sound is like, or now with AI, I think it opens a lot of tools. I know there's a lot of people who are very critical of AI, and I understand their concerns because I share them a little bit. But I think right now it's also opening a lot of creative possibilities. I'm using a lot of voices in my music, sometimes samples, and with AI I can just generate my own samples. I still use vocalists and rappers and all that, but sometimes it's just great to try something with AI to see if the vocal in a track would work. And I actually recently used AI for a track called Make It Count that I wrote together with Justice. And we used this new AI technique that can generate my voice. So I had to speak into this website for 3 minutes, and I just read the CNN news. And then the computer makes a copy of my voice, and you can type in everything and it uses my voice. So you can say whatever, and I never said it, but I just wanted to try it, and it sounded so good, so scary. Like, if I'm dead, people can still use this voice. That's crazy, you know? So the track Make It Count is actually my voice, but I never said that. I never said those words, make it count. We had the computer saying that. So it's very interesting. I think it opens a lot of doors for the future, yeah. When I started DJing, I remember the most asked question in interviews were always, how long is this going to last? You know, when is house music dead? When is it over? And I think if you look at all music right now, except maybe for classical music and country music and all that, but in the popular music of today, 99% of it is produced with an electronic background. So like a lot of bands, they use Pro Tools or Ableton or Logic or another DAW. And so you can't really say that there's a dance and pop, because pop is now being produced in a dance music way. So I think dance music is now the foundation of what we call modern music. And I think this will keep on developing. I personally think that the electronic development will have a bigger impact on music as we know. The biggest example is, I think it was Bach, and when Bach was making his music, there was only a clavecembalo, there wasn't a piano yet, or it was the other way around. I'm not quite sure. In the 60s, the Beatles, everybody was playing guitar or piano. The synthesizer was considered a devilish instrument. It was not an instrument until the Beatles decided to use a synthesizer on the White Album. So that changed the culture completely, because people were like, what, are the Beatles using a Moog synthesizer on is this even music, so that proves my theory that I think dubstep would have never been here if it was without Serum or Ableton, so the technology is very, very important for the current sound, and with the computers getting faster and AI coming, I think the music will change a lot. What advice would I give? I would say that the most important thing to become in life is yourself. I found it out the hard way. If you listen too much to criticism, if you listen too much to your manager, then you're not yourself. I think it's important to find your own voice and try to find a way to reach other people with your voice. Because there's a reason why God or your higher power has given you your craft. It doesn't matter if you're a singer, a writer, a photographer, a video, or it doesn't matter. God gave you these gifts to be yourself. So if you copy someone else, or if you try to be successful just for the sake of making money or something, you're gonna lose, because that's not who you are. The closer you can be to who you really are, if you can find your own voice and you can sell that and you can be good at that, then I think you will find success. To go clubbing, I think it's important for people to go clubbing to just to have a great time. Of course you can listen to music, all the music that I play in Ushuaïa, like maybe on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever, but there's nothing like experiencing music with friends and with a lot of other people. Like, music by itself is nothing but trembling air, It's the speaker that generates a wave. But because we celebrate it together, when we stand in Ushuaïa with the lights and the visuals and the fireworks, something happens when we celebrate together, and I hope people will keep experiencing it. Because I think this connection with other people is very, very old and very important. People used to dance hundreds of thousands of years ago, as nomads, when we were still traveling, around the world as small groups. And the way to connect these tribes was with music. So it's always been a way to connect with other people. And that, for me, is the foundation of clubbing.
This is what it feels like.